Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next lesson In with English, and I appreciate you all uh, watching and subscribing. And go ahead and like that video and help this channel grow. Looking for more students and more viewers to spread the wonderful world of English. And here we are today with a little bit of an overview of modal verbs. And what are these? Modal verbs involve a form of speaking that brings a sense or a function that you want to convey in your message. So if you are asking for something, that would be formally called a request. Or if you are setting an expectation or advice, right? Those types of functions, then you will need to use a modal verb. And I want to clarify some of these modal verbs because sometimes people think they can only be used for one sense, when in reality they can have a few different senses. So this will be a quick breakdown on this. The first one we'll cover is could. And we use this to talk about abilities or skills, things that we can do, things that we can learn to do. Or maybe we are just, very gifted, which means we have this special, you could say, power, right? Um, now, could is used often as a past form of can. And now be careful with overusing that. But in day to day English, we often use to talk about past skills or abilities, such as when I was younger, I could run 5 miles without getting tired. So here we're pointing to a time in the past. We're not saying exactly what year or month or date, but something very broad. And this ability was something that existed then. It's implied that we may not do it or have this skill today. And again, very often for polite requests, could you please open the window? It's a bit warm in here. Um, or could I go outside for a quick errand? Could I go to the bathroom, teacher? So you want to sound fairly polite. We want to use that always. And we also use it for possibilities, whether we're speaking in conditional form, such as this: if we leave now, we could arrive before the movie starts. So something that we believe is possible in the near future. Suggestions as well. We could go to the Italian restaurant if you don't want pizza. So here we're using, I guess you could say this is first conditional, but really under the purpose of a suggestion. So could has lots of usages here. Now, about the past forms, be careful with using it because if you wanted to say that something was not within your ability or skill, about something that happened, but it didn't occur, it wasn't possible, there we use could in the negative. For example, did you do your homework? No, I couldn't do it. I didn't have time, or the dog ate my homework, right? Or just there wasn't enough time, something happened that obstructed you, that didn't make it possible for you to do it. All right, moving on to would. Uh, we often use it for imaginary situations, so second conditional, hypothetical scenarios, as well as making a polite offer. So notice here for could, a polite request. So if I want something from you, uh, I want to ask you to do something, then I'll use could. But if I want to offer you something, uh, as a formality to be polite to my guests, I'll make an offer. So, again, as a hypothetical, if I won the lottery, I would travel all over the world. Would you like a cup of coffee or some water? Would you like a cup of tea? Would you like to stay for the weekend? And then we also use it for the future and the past. Now, this is interesting. Okay, so we're talking about something that happened in the past, but what we believed was to happen or that did happen after that point. She promised she would call me as soon as she landed. Um, so we're saying that something that happened then that we believed would happen after that point. And then, of course, habitual past. Another form of past. Just similar with could with past abilities, but you see past abilities and skills. Here, this is regarding routines, things that were often true before. When we lived by the beach, we would walk along the shore every morning. Now, with should, this is used here to very often to give orders, to say what people are obliged to do, so they have to do it. Obligation or duty. It's part of your responsibility. Drivers should always stop at a red light. We expect it to be. However, if we look above here, giving advice, this is something that is underrated, I think. Um, so I would highly recommend that you as students consider this. If you look exhausted, you should go to bed. Often, as a native English speaker, some other people who aren't native English speakers, if I use should as advice, they take it wrong sometimes to think it's an obligation or expectation, like I'm ordering them. But no, it's just friendly advice. Okay? It's something I really believe should happen for their benefit, but I'm not giving an order. It's just advice. Um, and again, expectation as well. The package should arrive. So something that we believe will happen reasonably. Okay? Um, and then asking for advice. Should I wear the blue shirt? So instead of giving the advice, we ask for it. Should I do this or should I do that? Should I wear the blue shirt or the black one for the interview? Okay, now practice. Um, what form is used here? Or I'm sorry, I should say, what function is used in each sentence? So now you can practice, all right? First sentence. I should study more for the exam. Okay, so is this a possibility, a hypothetical advice? Is it a recommendation or advice or a polite request? Take a moment. Okay, the correct answer is this is advice or a recommendation. 2. Here, typing way too fast today. Would you mind helping me with this bag? What is this? A possibility, advice, polite request, or hypothetical advice or hypothetical scenario? Tick tock, tick tock. What's the answer? 3, 2, 1. It is a polite request because we're asking somebody to do something for us in a nice way, a polite way. Next, it could rain later, so take an umbrella. Okay, is this a polite request, hypothetical advice, a possibility, a prediction, or just a general recommendation? This would fit under possibility. Finally, if I were you, I would tell the truth. So, is this advice, a polite request, possibility? Is it obligation? Is it a hypothetical form of advice? Is it the past? Are we talking about something that we used to do before, but we don't do anymore? All right, think about this. Correct answer is this is a hypothetical form of advice. So, many forms here. I will be putting a short form up to this video, a variation of it, for you all to review and practice as well. All right, take care and